is a short video by Bruce Lipton.
The world is in a state of evolution, and what I mean by evolution is not a physical evolution. Humans are not going to change into something different. The evolution that we're really experiencing now is an evolution in consciousness. A consciousness that has in the past separated us as individuals. A consciousness that has been programmed with a belief that life is a struggle and that we're out here to survive. We have to be in competition with each other and undercut and undermine. And we were acting as individuals, looking for our own individual power. But in today's world, there's a new understanding that the evolution is an evolution of consciousness, an evolution of an expansion of we are more than just these physical entities, that there is an energy involved. In Newtonian physics, the conventional ones that most people have learned, atoms are physical particles, like little granules. But in 1925, physicists came to another understanding because they said, so what are those particles made out of? You called atoms. And they went inside. And they found there were smaller so-called particles, electrons, protons, and neutrons. But that still wasn't the quest, because what are they made out of? And that's when the world changed. Because when quantum physicists started to say, what is an electron or a proton or a neutron made out of? It's made out of energy, not physical, no substance. An atom is like a nano tornado, a spinning force field. There's an illusion that we are physical entities. You're an energy field. And I go, so what the heck difference does that make? And I go, well, here's the interesting part. Particles, I can separate. Here's a particle, here's a particle. Let's talk about one particle. Energy just mixes all together. I'm sitting in a field of energy right now. So if I'm made out of energy, which I am, does it mean that the edge of my energy stops right here? And the answer is no. In quantum mechanics, I'm an energy field. Wherever I go, I'm like a broadcasting an energy. Wherever you are right now, you're broadcasting energy. And so in a Newtonian world we grew up with, this is separate from this and that's separate from this. And I go, in a quantum mechanical world, nothing is separate. Everything is an energy field with no borders to it. So what I do in my world is not just what I do in my world. What I do in my world is broadcast to everything else. And if it resonates or is in harmony with you, my energy can affect your energy. Or my energy can actually cancel your energy. Everything is interconnected. The chair I'm sitting on is energy. The air I'm in breathing with is energy. I'm energy, you're energy. We're all connected in this energy. But the fact is, energies are communications. And we vibrate and broadcast just like a radio. We're broadcasting who we are out into the field, and we alter what's going on. It is beyond language. It's a communication. It has nothing to do with words. It's an energy that's available if you just want to feel it. And I think that's the big issue. Feelings. Because feelings are telling you, you feel good? Yes, I'm having more energy. You feel bad? You feel weak? I'm having less energy. And I say, why is it relevant? It's more powerful than words. Energy can tell me, am I with people that are supporting me because I feel good around them? Or do I have a little quasi feeling of this, it doesn't feel right to me? So we have a new world that we're coming into, and it's based on the energy. And if you can read energy, you are being guided. If you can't read energy, you don't know what's going to happen next. If you follow the words, that's where we have been sold a bill of goods, where people say, yeah, these are good words, what do you think? And then I'll buy that because the words. And I say, yeah, but if you ever stop long enough to say, how do you feel about it, not what you hear about it. It empowers you beyond anything in the world. So the wake-up call now is, yeah, listen to people, fine, but feel. Feel with people. Feel where you are. Feel, is this what I want to do? Do I want to do this or I want to do that? I say, you can ask your head and rationalize anything. But I say, don't ask the question of your head. Ask the question of your heart. Your heart is the monitor of the vibration. Your heart will give you an answer more accurate about anything in your world than your rational thinking will.
We believe we're going through an evolution of consciousness. Yeah? And what is that? It's more heart-based. We'll talk a bit more about it as we go on. Does anyone know this guy? This is Cleve Baxter. Cleve Baxter was a pioneer in his way. He actually introduced the CIA to hypnosis, and when he found that they were using it for the wrong reasons, he left. And he's the guy who invented the lie detector test, the polygraph, okay? And he wrote a book called Primary Perception. It's a beautiful book. And what he did was, he started to hook up the plants in his office to the lie detector test, okay? And then, in some cases, he would smack a leaf, okay? Or he would try and hurt the plant. And he noticed that they felt pain. So he started getting a bit creative, and one test he took a leaf, and then he went to burn it. And as soon as his intention was to burn the leaf, the plant showed signs of being afraid. Okay. Now, they even showed concern. One of the stories, he's got all of his plants hooked up, and he cuts his finger while he was making breakfast. And as he's shouted in pain, he said they all showed the same concern, okay, at the same time, all the plants. So he did lots of other things as well. He got an ex-war veteran, and he got a culture of white blood cells from his saliva, and he grew a culture, and then he took it 14 miles away, okay? And then they put the little electric probes to the white blood cells, and then they wired up the war veteran 14 miles away, and then they showed him footage of Pearl Harbor. Now, the way that the war veteran responded at exactly the same time his white blood cells did 14 miles away. Now, in some of his studies, the distance was over 300 miles, okay? And what he said was the distance didn't matter, and there's no travel time. It was instantaneous, okay? So he was doing all this in the 70s, but it wasn't until 1997 that they did the first peer-reviewed study on this. Nicholas Gizon in 1997 with the twin photon experiment. And this was in Geneva. So what they did was they isolated a single photon, then they split the photon with sophisticated technology. Again, they separated them 14 miles, and the scientific term they used is they tickled one. And when they tickled one, the other one responded exactly the same time. So quantum physics says once matter has been joined physically, it will always stay connected energetically. All matter was once connected before the Big Bang, therefore everything in the universe is connected energetically. Everyone get that? Okay, a little bit on mass meditation, okay? So to date there have been over 50 peace gathering demonstration projects and 23 peer-reviewed scientific studies around the world. And the results have consistently demonstrated a positive effect in the immediate reduction of crime, warfare and terrorism by an average of greater than 70%. Here's some facts on mass meditation. These are from Dr. Joe Dispenza. 8,000 peace gathering between 1988 and 1990. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan ended. The 7-year war between Iraq and Iran ended, and the Soviet Cold War ended. 76% reduction in war deaths in the mid-1980s in Jerusalem, when 7,000 to 8,000 people in Lebanon focused their attention on peace. Reduced crimes and fires, decreased traffic accidents, less terrorism, and increased economic growth. Rand Corporation think tank 2-year study of 7,000 people, 72% reduction in worldwide terrorism, one of the 3 best studies in the West. And transcendental meditation. In 1993, 2,000 meditators for 2 months focused on peace and coherent energy, and there was a significant statistical reduction in violence, crime and stress in Washington, D.C. So just as we spoke about earlier, how they measure this is they're always recording everything. Okay, so they record divorce rates, emergency room visits, car accidents, terrorist activity, theft, you name it, they measure everything. And transcendental meditation, we'll talk about them because they did a lot of this stuff. They found that even if they got a group of people meditating together, it was enough to influence the environment. But they also dotted practitioners in random locations in war zones, and then they would then practice moving into peace and coherence, and that still influenced the environment. So how they measured it is, these stats are always getting measured, but when they're practicing, there's a window of prayer. So just let's say they meditate for 4 hours, they see, in most cases, greater than 70% reduction in these things like crimes, emergency room visits and car accidents and so on. And they also see economic growth. So, and I'll explain a little bit more how that happens. Is anyone familiar with Deepak Chopra? Yeah, Deepak Chopra found that when people do collective meditation, they actually have a huge increase of serotonin, and it's very easy to measure. You just get a urine sample and there's an acid in the urine. So he gathered over 7,000 people for a collective meditation, and what he did was he went outside of the meditation. He walked the streets and he stopped people in the streets who didn't even know there was a meditation taking place. And he asked them if he could take a urine sample. And those that said yeah, they had huge increases in serotonin, and they were not taking part in the practice. So the more people gather, the stronger the field of coherent energy. They measure through a lead-lag analysis. So how that works is, for example, say you have a chain smoker. The more cigarettes they smoke, the more chances they've got of lung cancer, let's say. It's the same with this. The greater the amount of people who gather for the peace projects, the greater the influence, okay? And this shows, I spoke briefly as well about, to Antonio, about Joe Dispenza's new book called Becoming Supernatural. He's measuring now, he's getting all of his students in his advanced retreats, and he's wiring them up. He's measuring their brain waves, and he's measuring the energy in the room. And what he says is, as we all start moving into the same coherent, elevated emotions, we build on each other. Okay, our fields interact, we build on it. And he can prove, he's shown that the energy in the room is just going through the roof. Even their brainwave activity, when there's group meditation, some of his students are getting 500 times more gamma waves than the average person can. Okay, huge.